The big story that we've been tracking on the show today, and NDTV has been on top of this story, which is the cloudburst and the subsequent flash floods that took place in Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand. 4 people have died, scores are feared trapped under the debris, and 9 army personnel are missing after a cloudburst struck Uttarakhand's Uttarkashi district this afternoon, triggering a mudslide and flash floods that swept through a village, catching its residents by surprise. Horrifying visuals from the Dharali village in Uttarkashi show a massive stream of water that's gushing towards homes after the cloudburst in the catchment area of Kir Ganga river. At least half the village was buried under the fast-flowing mudslide of slush, rubble and water, officials said, as rescue personnel battled the elements in the ecologically fragile heights to contain the damage that took place this afternoon. All right, and let's get you now the 5 key defining visuals of this horrific tragedy. This is a true and horrifying extent of the Uttarkashi cloudburst. Big concrete houses swallowed by slush. The flash flood has swept away a huge area of the Dharali village, and you can see the extent of the tragedy in this first video that we are playing out right now. Let's put out the second video that tell you the extent of the damage that has been done. This is the exact moment when the tragedy struck in Dharoli village in Uttarkashi. This new video shows water and slush gushing down through the mountain and ravaging everything that came in its way. The third video, viewers, that we are putting out right now shows the shattering aftermath of the flash floods. Homes upon homes swept away and buried in slush. Next video that we are putting out for you, again one that helps you better understand the extent of this tragedy, which is another disturbing video that shows a car being swept away. Locals claim the passengers that were there were inside this vehicle, were stuck, and this also then brings us to tell you that there are 50 people who are reportedly missing in the flash floods, and that car, which had passengers, multiple passengers in it, was stranded. And that disturbing video tells you how people and property, everything is being damaged, which came in the way of this flash flood. And the last video that we're putting out is the army camp at Harshil, which had also been hit by the cloudburst. Images accessed exclusively by NDTV show the camp being surrounded by slush. At least 150 army personnel from this camp were one of the first set of responders as they rushed to rescue those trapped.
Nature's fury in full force. Death and devastation in Devbhoomi. A village washed away. Houses crumble in the face of raging waters. Screams and shouts of people running to save life. As a cloudburst triggered devastating flash floods in Dharali village in Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand, multiple videos captured the scale and horror of the tragedy. This video shows the gushing water in full force, destroying everything in its way. Houses to cars to trees. Scared people scrambling to escape the advancing fury. Another video showed the sudden gush of water from the heights onto the unsuspecting village, sweeping all in the way with full force. An eyewitness documented the aftermath of nature's fury. Houses, cars, everything buried under the slush left behind by the flash floods. This video shows a man trying to navigate his way through the slush, falling in the effort. The cloudburst took place in the catchment area of the Kir Ganga river, leading to the devastation of Dharali village in Uttarkashi. The area is just 4 kilometers from the Harshil army camp, which was also washed away. The mammoth tragedy overwhelmed the region and triggered an emergency multi-agency response.
धराली में आई आपदा के कारण मलबा काफी ज्यादा आ गया है और वहां पर बचाव के काम तेजी से चल रहे हैं। वहां पर सेना के लोग, आईटीबीपी के लोग और एसडीआरएफ की टीमें वहां पहुंच गई है। लगभग 70-80 लोगों को अभी सुरक्षित स्थानों पर निकाल भी लिया गया है, जो बड़ी मैं समझता हूं कि बहुत तेजी से ये बचाव का काम वहां पर हुआ है। आपदा तो प्राकृतिक है, लेकिन उसका क्विक रिस्पांस टाइम कम से कम हो, वही हमारा एक मंत्र भी है, उसी मंत्र के आधार पर काम कर रहे हैं।
Teams of Army, NDRF, SDRF were rushed to the affected areas for rescue operation. A bridge leading to the affected also came down, snapping the connectivity, and weather hampered the relief operations.
पुलिया भी वहां से बह गई है, तो उसके लिए हम लोग अभी बीआरओ से यहाँ से बीआरओ से भी और ईएनसी इंजीनियर इन चीफ हमारे पीडब्ल्यूडी के हमारे साथ हैं। मौसम भी अभी इस ऐसी स्थिति नहीं है जिससे कि हम लोग हेली सर्विसेज को वहां के माध्यम से वहां पे राहत और रेस्क्यू कर सके।
Prime Minister Modi expressed condolences and assured that relief and rescue operations were being carried out under the supervision of the state government. Home Minister Amit Shah also dialed the Chief Minister to take stock of the relief.
कि नदियों के किनारे जो लोग घर बना लेते हैं, उनका इंक्रोचमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा कर देते हैं, तो ऐसे में ये जो नुकसान होता है इस तरीके का बहुत ज़्यादा होता है। पर अभी किसी को पता नहीं है कि वो किस वजह से वहाँ पर फ्लड आया था। यही वजह है कि उस पूरे इलाके को खाली कराकर उनको सुरक्षित स्थानों पर लाया जाएगा।
Uttarakhand has been witnessing heavy continuous rainfall this season, with major rivers including the Ganga and Haridwar remaining in spate. NDTV Bureau Report.
Kishore Rawat joins us live from Uttarkashi to tell us how things are looking right now on ground. Kishore, ये बताइए इस वक्त जो पूरा राहत का कार्य चल रहा है, जो पूरी रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चल रही है, उसकी डिटेल बताइए अभी, क्योंकि 50 से ज़्यादा लोग अभी भी मिसिंग है। उस पर कोई अपडेट है आपके पास?
अभी फिलहाल अपडेट यही है कि इसमें 4 लोगों की डेथ बताई जा रही है और रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन युद्ध स्तर पर चल रहा है। एक अच्छी बात यह है कि बारिश थमी है और उम्मीद ये की जा रही है कि जैसे कल सुबह मौसम साफ होगा तो जो चॉपर्स है वो टेक ऑफ करेंगे और वहाँ पे तेज़ी से जो हर्षिल है वहाँ पर आर्मी का जो ये बेस कैंप है वहाँ पे हेलीपैड से जो घायल है ज़्यादा उनको लेके आएंगे और बाकी जो टीमें हैं उनको वहाँ रेस्क्यू के लिए पहुँचाएंगे। चूँकि जिस तरीके से फ्लड था और एक वीडियो में साफ दिख रहा था कि किस तरीके से वहां पर एक कार में बहुत तेजी से लोग लेके भागे, कुछ लोग अपनी जान बचाने के लिए लगे लेकिन वो चपेट में आ गए। और नंबर्स की बात करें तो शायद ये नंबर्स बढ़ सकते हैं, नंबर ऑफ डेथ्स। इसके अलावा जो लापता लोग हैं, क्योंकि मलबा जो है वो बहुत बड़ी तादाद में यानी हजारों टन की तादाद में वो वहां पर फैला है, जिसकी वजह से वहां पर भारी नुकसान हो सकता है। अब इसी को देखते हुए वहां पर जो एक्स्ट्रा रिलीफ फोर्स है उनको भेजा जा रहा है। खुद जो हर्षिल के पास सूखी टॉप के उधर एक बादल फटा है जिसमें जो सेना का कैंप है, यानी एक नहीं 2 बड़ी आपदाएं हैं जिसमें काफ़ी नुकसान हुआ है। और जो सेना के जवान हैं वो जहां पर उनके कैंप में आया वो वहां पर भी रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चलाए हुए हैं। इसके अलावा जो दूसरी जगह जो सिविल एरिया है वहां पर भी ये बादल फटा है, जिस तरीके से लैंडस्लाइड हुआ है, बहुत बड़ी तादाद में मलबा पूरे कई घरों को उसने उड़ा दिया है। तो वहाँ पे भी रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चला है, यानी चुनौतियाँ एक नहीं बल्कि 2 है। 2 जगहों पर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चल रहा है। इसके अलावा एसडीआरएफ, एनडीआरएफ और तमाम जो टीमें हैं उनको रवाना किया गया है और कई जगह पे रास्ते में बैठे हुए, क्योंकि पूरे रास्ते भर में जिस तरीके से हम देहरादून से आते हुए पूरे रास्ते भर में कई जगह बड़े लैंडस्लाइड हमें मिले, कई जगह पत्थर गिर रहे थे। तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि उस रास्ते से आना और पूरे रास्ते से वहाँ पर जाना कोई आसान बात नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन तेजी से चल रहा है। जी
किशोर रावत, हमसे बात करने के लिए शुक्रिया। That was my colleague Kishore giving us an update in terms of how things are looking right now on ground and an update as far as the rescue and relief operations are concerned. Shifting focus now to the other big story that we are tracking on the show, which is industrialist Anil Ambani, who is in ED soup. He was grilled for nearly 10 hours by Enforcement Directorate. This is with regard to a fraud worth 17,000 crore rupees. Excuse me. The big allegation against Anil Ambani is that his companies had borrowed and taken loans worth 17,000 crore rupees from banks, but that money did not go into the purposes for which it was actually taken and instead was siphoned off into several shell companies. In that regard, Enforcement Directorate is now set to summon Anil Ambani yet again, simply because the investigating agency was not satisfied with the responses that came in from the beleaguered billionaire. Let's quickly now play out this ground report that my colleague Anushka has filed from outside ED headquarters, where she was tracking the story through the day.
After more than 9 hours of questioning, finally we are showing you the visuals of Anil Ambani coming outside of the ED headquarters. The ED has called him to appear in front of the ED headquarters after a week or so, and he is most likely to be appearing on that date. But we do know that he has been questioned for about 9 hours in the money laundering investigation of of money to the tune of rupees 17,000 crore rupees. Now ED has in fact also launched a parallel investigation to in fact check the quid pro quo arrangement that was made between the Yes Bank promoters and the senior executives of the Anil Ambani group. That ED is in fact also has in fact also launched a parallel investigation. Not just that, there are three Anil Ambani Reliance Group companies that are under the radar, that is Reliance House Finance Limited, Reliance Commercial Finance Limited and Reliance Communications. And what so far in today's questioning, ED had asked multiple questions to Anil Ambani linked to his role in the loan sanctioning that was done between 2017 to 19, and several banks also who had in fact sanctioned money to Anil Ambani have been written by the ED. They are seeking details of what all verifications they did, whether or not they checked the credit scores, and what did they do, what necessary actions did they take after they got to know that the three companies have defaulted. So far Anil Ambani has failed to give any kind of satisfactory answer to the ED, and that is why the ED is likely to summon him after 1 week, and Anil Ambani will have to appear in front of the ED and answer all those questions, because this is a part of a PMLA probe that the ED has launched against Anil Ambani Group companies. With camera person Gauri Prasad, this is Anushka Garg for NDTV.
The other big story that we are tracking, which US President Donald Trump on Tuesday said that he would increase tariffs charged on Indian imports substantially over the next 24 hours because of India's continued purchase of Russian oil. This is yet another threat that has come in from Donald Trump. He made that threat 24 hours earlier as well. And in fact, he said that India has not been a good trading partner because they do a lot of business with us, but we don't do business with them. So if he settled on 25% tariff, but I think I'm going to raise that very substantially over the next 24 hours because they're buying Russian oil. This was Donald Trump speaking to CNBC in a televised interview. That's a television news network in the US. But the larger point here is one, that Donald Trump has hinted for the very first time that he will impose tariffs, or he could impose tariffs on pharmaceutical sector, which till now had been kept outside the ambit with regard to tariffs. The second important part is that he's doubling down on his threat yet again as far as India's purchase of Russian oil is concerned. India is the world's second largest oil importer and has exercised discretion in buying and ramping up purchases from Russia in the last 3 years as the Russian oil prices tanked. Now, how this is going to pan out remains to be a matter of big focus for NDTV. Let me now, in fact, also tell you in terms of fact check that NDTV has done. We've got you fact checks in terms of some of the threats that have been made by Donald Trump and how they really stand as far as facts are concerned. My colleague Shivarur has those details.
And now for the big fact check of Trump. Remember, Trump over the last few days has been spreading this narrative that India is somehow a tariff tyrant, a country that is completely unfriendly to trade and business because of its record high tariffs. In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to completely bust that myth with data, not my opinion, with data. India is not the most protectionist economy, and I'm going to prove it to you with some data and figures. The mean tariff from India is 4.6% lower than many other countries, and I will show you where that actually stands. A big portion of imports is duty-free from the United States at this point of time. Trump never mentions that. Zero or low duty on key US exports. Trump does not mention that. Low duties on US oil, coal, pharmaceuticals, as well as machinery. Trump makes no mention of that, even though those are big industries in the United States. India is one of the most open and accessible markets for the United States. Trump never mentions that, and I will prove that with data, because 45% of US exports to India face a tariff of under 5%. Have you ever heard Trump mention that? He never will, for obvious reasons. Steady tariff reduction has been taking place on US exports to India since 1991, and I will show you where those figures actually stand, because US imposes very high tariffs in sensitive sectors. The US under Trump pretends like it has no tariffs. It's India that does all of it. I will show you how wrong Trump is. Over 100% US tariffs on dairy, agriculture, and the automotive sector. Now let's get on to some even more important data, because remember, Trump says that the mean tariff in India makes India absolutely the most unfriendly country to do trade with. Well, take a look at some of America's other big trading partners. India stands at 4.6% mean tariff. The EU itself is at 5%, Vietnam 5.1%, Indonesia 5.7%, and Bangladesh almost double of that at 10.6%. So India is by no means the biggest as far as that is concerned. Now let's show you how America has benefited from lower tariffs in India. Let's go item by item to show you how Trump and previous administrations beyond the narrative have actually benefited. Motorcycles, the previous duty was 50, now it's 40. 50 to 30, it's gone, that's above 1600 cc. Other items as well have benefited from lower tariffs from India. Bourbon whiskey 150% earlier, 100 now. Switches 20 to 10. Flavors and essences have gone down by a factor of 5 from 100% to just 20%. So it's not like tariffs have not been going down. Now, here are the high tariff products in the United States. You will never ever see Trump or his chorus line of congressmen ever talking about these products that are exported from the United States that see these incredibly high tariffs. Look at this. Sour cream, 197%. Tobacco, 183%. Peanut butter, 131%. Rum and tequila, 51%. Whey protein and whey, 39%. Milk and cream, 35%. Cheese, 23%. Leather and footwear, nearly 24%, and auto at 19.28%. Some of the highest tariffs in the world, courtesy Trump's America. And finally, agri-tariffs. Remember, every country in the world protects its agriculture, but Trump makes it look like India is unique in protecting its agricultural industry. Just take a look at some of these figures to give you a sense of it. And these I've chosen countries that have agricultural economies. Switzerland 28.5%, Norway 31.1%, 23.5% on Iceland, Korea is 57%, and India is 39%. So these are the facts that Trump will never tell you. This is the narrative, very much part of the muscle flexing to try and paint India, to defame India as a tariff tyrant. Well, the numbers speak for themselves.
All right, on that note, viewers, a quick break. We return on the other side with more stories, including the latest in terms of the political row that's escalated between Congress and BJP over whether or not there are CISF personnel inside Parliament. Stay tuned for that and more. Fresh controversy has hit Parliament. A storm now brewing over Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge's explosive claim that CISF personnel were present inside the Rajya Sabha chamber. Kharge has called it a serious breach of privilege and demanded accountability. The government has hit back, saying that there were only marshals inside, and these claims are in fact baseless and false. Let's quickly now play out this conversation that my colleague Aishwarya had with T. Siva of the DMK.
Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister also said that whosoever enters into the house, they are considered as marshals. And
again, I say, what dress you are in, I don't know. But you are a journalist. You are a media person. You will be seen only that. So CASF has come inside with the dress of the marshal. Because whoever has to come there, they have the uniform. They wear the uniform, but they are CASF. Let them come and explain. Why you deputed CASF staff there instead of the earlier existing security? What fault did you find with them?
Mr. Rijidu explained when we asked him, he said that to save whosoever is sitting on the chair, if any member physically attacks the chair, then the marshals are being called in.
Today nothing happened. Yesterday nothing happened. On Friday nothing happened. We were only shouting, but we were about to be attacked. Never the opposition members attempt to do anything which is untoward, not even near the table. How can you presume that they're going to attack the chairman? We are not that barbarian or undemocratic or unruly. We are all well behaved.
Do you think this is unprecedented in the history of
unprecedented, unbecoming, that should not be repeated at any cost in future.
Turning attention now to Bangladesh, where it's been a year since Sheikh Hasina was ousted after a bloody student protest that preceded it. And let's play out this report that tells you what all has happened in the last 1 year in Bangladesh.
A year since the Sheikh Hasina government was toppled and Sheikh Hasina left Bangladesh, the country still has no elected government and is being governed by an unelected interim government led by Muhammad Yunus. Under pressure, Yunus finally announced elections that are likely to be held in February 2026. And political parties are preparing for it. Sheikh Hasina's Awami League has been banned from contesting the next election. Hasina says Yunus has given the reins of the government to terrorists against whom her government fought.
এখন বাংলাদেশ সেই জঙ্গিদের রাজত্ব, সেই জঙ্গিদের উপর নির্ভর করেই তাদেরকে ব্যবহার করে এবং আমাকে আর রেহানাকে হত্যার চক্রান্ত করেই ইউনূস কিন্তু ক্ষমতা দখল করলো। আর ক্ষমতা এসে আওয়ামী লীগের যত নেতাকর্মী এবং সহযোগী সংগঠনের নেতাকর্মী, মুক্তিযোদ্ধা, 14 দলীয় নেতা, তাদেরকে গ্রেপ্তার। আর মামলার তো কোনো সীমা পরিসীমা নাই। লক্ষ লক্ষ মামলা হয়ে গেছে আমাদের বিরুদ্ধে, আমার নিজের বিরুদ্ধে তো প্রায় 450-র মতো মামলা।
The BNP, the main opposition party during Hasina regime, which boycotted the January 2024 election saying it was rigged, now sees an opportunity to come back to power. The National Citizens Party, which was born out of the uprising last year, looks all set to challenge the status quo. However, many see it as a front for the Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh. Sarjis Alam, a face for the protest last year, says the current situation is the result of policies since the last 50 years and it cannot be addressed in a year.
আমাদের ওই যে আকাঙ্ক্ষা সেগুলো বাস্তবায়ন হওয়ার জন্য আমাদের যে ফাইট তার বিরুদ্ধে পুরাতন এস্টাবলিশমেন্টের যারা তারাও খুব শক্তিশালী একটা ফাইট করছে যেন আমাদের কাঙ্ক্ষিত বাংলাদেশটা না হয়। এখানে কোনো একটা পক্ষকে আসলে দায় দেওয়ার সুযোগ নেই।
But what is most worrying is the ban on the Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh, a hardline radical Islamic force, has been lifted and its registration with the Election Commission has been restored. And the Jamaat has been accused of targeting Bangladesh's minority population, especially Hindus. As Bangladesh unveils its July declaration, all eyes are on which path the country chooses for its future. Will it adopt an anti-India, pro-Pakistan position? Will it forget the atrocities of the Pakistani army and the struggles of 1971? Or will it course correct and rebuild ties with India? NDTV Bureau Report.